Hello, everybody. Gauntlet here. Here to talk a little bit about some GRM stuff, and I am also going to talk about random bullshit with game design. Some people have asked me actually to offer more opinions than just what I'm working on with spaceships, so we'll do that today. I've already tried to record this video, and it ended up being 40 minutes long, so that was too long. So let's see if we can do this better now. So, number one, new stuff. You can now go out and get the Strategic Resource Replacer mod for JRM. What this does is give you these pretty space stations that are mining the resources. So you got that. You got this. I really like this one. I like thulium. You've also got, let's see here, Promethean. Yeah, there we go. Let's go into the sun so you can kind of see that. That's pretty cool. Durantium is over here too. And yep, there we go. Good view on that. Really happy with that guy. And Illyrium. Not certain about Illyrium, and I think it might have performance issues. So, report back if you do have performance issues, but it could just be me. So yeah, really excited about that. Secondly, I am working on another shipset. This shipset will be replacing the Toth shipset, which is currently RN. Which is basically the Narn from Babylon 5. Long story short, why am I doing that? One, you won't be losing the old chipset. RN will still be available. I will use it for a minor race called the Ronar, which was the original race that I replaced with the Toth. The Toth is my original sort of idea for a race for the GRM universe before it was a GRM universe. And I was just having fun and making Narn ships. I'm a better ship designer now, and I've got the time, and the Narn ships don't have turrets. You can't really tell what the weapon systems are on them. They don't really match the overall design philosophy of my universe. So they're getting relegated to minor status, and I'm making a new ship set heavily inspired by them, using many of their hulls and then retrofitting, working around, using some of the new parts, giving them turrets. So here are some examples. So, I mean, obviously, still got that sort of Narn angled pieces I've always had. But then these are totally new fighters. They're bulky, heavily armored, lots of cannons going back and forth there. I'm quite happy with them. They use some of the new parts, and yeah, I like them. And these are Toth are all about cheap ships that can take a hit. Um, basically, if the Ukaros are sort of the United States in a Cold War, sparing no expense and just throwing money at the problem and trying to come up with the best and possible answer to anything, that they're running around with the Bradley infantry fighting vehicles of the 80s. Excuse me. The Toth are the Soviets, which is basically doing a hell of a lot with a little bit less. Surprisingly effective tools, ruggedly reliable at times, but then just not as impressive as their counterpart one-on-one. Or at least that's the sort of story I think people tell themselves when they're talking about those two factions in the Cold War. Whether or not it's really true, well, yeah, it probably isn't quite true. But there's yeah. Anyways, truth doesn't matter. It's about the idea and what I'm going for as a style. So yeah, if you do happen to agree with my sentiments or really disagree with them, I'm all ears on that. Anywho, they got fighters. Here's a small beam ship. You can see the classic Narn beam array piece there. I'm definitely using that because I worked really hard on it. It's really cool. Here's their command hull for their larger ships. You got some beam turrets. They're neat. They're not super special, but they're pretty darn good. Um, and then here's their small missile ship. And you're going to see this sort of hull formation here throughout. I call it the angry turtle look. Here's their cool missile pod using mercenary pieces. Then you've got a medium beam. Quite happy with that. And then they're balanced. Again, angry turtle. Very angry turtle. Lots of turrets on this guy. Also a missile pod plus some beam arrays in the front. Yep. And then we've got some of the larges here. This is the large beam. All beam turrets all the time. You got a lot of those beam arrays in the front. You got your Narn generator thingy there because I liked it Figured why throw it away. You still got the Narn engine system going on. And then you've got their missile ship, which is a bit more fleshed out, you know, a little more heavy duty, lots of missiles, couple of kinetic turrets. Still got a small beam array in the front, you know, but and then you've got your balanced, which has a mix-all. So very happy with how these guys are coming out. You know, it's not a radical departure, I guess, but I definitely think it stands out a bit differently than the actual Narn sets. So yeah, pretty happy with how they're coming along. And like I said, you won't lose the Narn ships. You're just gaining more. So that's cool. So, all right, new mining stations, new ship set I'm working on. That's the mining stations are available now. Go download it. I'm also experimenting with upgrading the pirates significantly. So let's turn off Fog of War, or turn it back on, I guess. There we go. Okay. Now, here's a medium map. And, you know, you guys notice anything about those white markers? There sure are a lot of them, aren't there? Yeah. I mean, let's take a look. All right. Here's a pirate starbase, shipyard, as you can see. I've used the Turin set, because the Turins are pirates, so, you know, it makes sense overall. This is a custom appearance I made for the pirates, green, purple, and browns, and steel. I like it. I might change it. We'll see. And then, you know, what's this? This is a pirate fleet of, like, you know, 4 ships. Neat. And, you know, I've played less than, like, I don't know, 30 turns, tops. Not even. Probably, like, 15. Just enough to set up a mining station and build those ships, you know, with unlocked all the technology. So they were 1 turn each. There's 11 ships. Yeah, it's like 15, 20 turns in, tops. And look at that. 4 of them. Huh. You know, I don't usually see pirates do that. Could it be because I gave the pirates survey ships to start off with? Why, yes, Gauntlet. Yes, I did do that. So here's their survey ship, which is one of my mercenary ships modified a bit with extra beam cannons, but losing some of the salvage stuff it had going on. You know, work in progress, because this skull on this side is broken. Yeah, I gave them survey ships. They've been jumping around, and it looks like even the pirates they should be fighting, they're actually maybe joining them. I'm not certain about that. Otherwise, these are just reward ships, but they are gathering the reward ships at their various pirate bases, which is really cool. Here, let's take a turn here. Yeah, the Eucharos move a ship and see what happens here. Yep, they're all moving somewhere. Holy shit. Okay, so here's something cool. In previous turns, this survey ship found a colony ship. And they made themselves a pirate colony. It's so adorable. If I was actually playing this game, this would be so cool because it's like I would have had only like 6 or 7 colonies and they just jumped one. I'm like, you sons of bitches. And then I'd have to go to the bazaar and find this guy who's got, you know, a early game transport, and I would totally hire this SOB. And then what would I do with him? Well, I would make a beeline for that pirate planet before they do this. Fill it with ships. Those bastards. Oh, wait. Why does it say upgrade? Can I actually... What? oh, oh, okay, that's not my fault. That is not my fault. Hopefully I can't actually upgrade them. But, yeah, so I think that's really cool. Pirates have a colony, and, you know, they're slowly going to become a real faction here. Now, this is also assisted by the fact that I have a copy of JSM on here. In GSM, my prototype copy, actually doubling the health. Oh no, I ridiculously increased the health actually. It's 1,000 hit points at the pirate starbases. Just to be like, nope, you're not taking them out. Sorry, you need to build a real fleet to take them out. They might be too good. Who knows? So I'll play a few games, don't worry, and figure it out. But I just think this is so cool. Giving them survey ships makes them almost dangerous, guys, because they're getting a lot more ships that they really don't give a shit about paying maintenance on. I have them earning 10 credits instead of 5 per round for each shipyard. That's a good chunk. And then, you know, they're gonna keep finding more ships, and not to mention like little bonuses and stuff that should make their ships more dangerous. I should mention I also have like a speed boost in this game. Oh, the Eucharos just blew up one of them. because, hunt those pirates down. Which is making everyone a little faster, which is accelerating the process at which these pirates are growing. It should take double the time to reach all these anomalies. See, all the ships are moving a little bit faster. They have like 4 extra movement points. It is interesting though that now that they have a homeworld, at least that one base is sending all of their ships here. It seems like to defend it, which is smart. So yeah, that's just cool. Okay, this is good. And all right, I did promise you a little bit of talk about game design. Um, or rather, like what I like to see in 4X games. I'm more interested in hybrid games. Long story short, uh, Galactic Civ is mostly not pushing the boundaries of what a 4X game is. It's very turn-based. It's turn-based, and it's very traditional. It's Galactic Civ is known for its flat maps, which in some ways I like, in some ways I hate. I hate that it is half the movement to get to a planet as it is to get in between star systems. There is no discernible limit of where a star system ends or begins exactly, at least not on screen. I don't like that. It also is probably too realistic about it being space in some ways, so there are no choke points. Um, you are forced to always engage in a defense in depth strategy, which is you cannot defend every single planet. Instead, you're encouraged to form hubs where you keep fast reaction fleets, and then of course we don't even let's not get started on the whole engine stacking, sensor stacking stuff, right? But you're really encouraged to create multiple fleets that are at depots that then counterattack and push or bypass enemy fleets and just destroy their interior. And well, I mean, sometimes it feels like a nuclear war, not like a regular war. I'm not really encouraged to fight the enemy fleet head on very often, or engage star bases. Why wouldn't you just go around most of the time? Military star bases could be interesting focal points, but in order to make them that way, you have to give them ridiculous planetary bonuses. So that they're covering, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planets and making those planets almost uninvadable, so you have to blow up the starbase. And while it might be realistic and it's certainly a different style, I personally don't enjoy it that much. One of my favorite games, Sins of a Solar Empire. You do have choke points, you have the star lanes, but when you get to the system, there's terrain, there's options. You can go around defenses still. You can outmaneuver them. You can get into their back pocket. But there are ways of countering it. And I just don't feel like the flat map gives you nearly as many interesting choices. You probably have more total choices, but it's not as interesting to me, I guess. So that's one thing. But I understand the critique of the star lane system, the lines connecting star systems. It does limit the overall options. And I've heard arguments that it makes the AI weak, but I really don't think so. I feel like the opposite should be true because you're limiting the number of possibilities significantly. So if anything, it should make the AI a lot better in terms of knowing like where it has to defend and where it doesn't. But I'm not really, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I don't know that for sure. But I'm more interested in hybrids. I think Swords of the Stars, for example, allowed some races to jump. Some races had to use the lanes, and other races had very slow traditional movement, but that set up warp gates, for example. That's interesting. And I think, that's just cool. The new Master of Orion game has a very similar mechanic going on. I believe. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. They don't. They have purely the lanes. Maybe in the later tech levels you can upgrade. They're also a very traditional game. Rightly so. That's what that audience wants. You call it Master of Orion. Uh, yeah, Master of Orion 3 tanked. It largely tanked because it departed from their award-winning formula. And let's bear in mind the age it came out of. That was like, what, the late 90s? Um, Fair enough. And it was buggy as hell. I mean, I bought it, and that was not a good purchase. Supposedly now it's playable. It's 2016. When you've had and raised small children to practical adulthood or actual adulthood, in the time it took your game to actually become playable, you failed. You failed miserably. Probably became more playable a lot more recently than 2016, but Jesus Christ, Master of Orion 3, what the fuck? But the new Master of Orion looks promising, but boring to me. It looks very tried and true. Um, they are adding some interesting mechanics, I think, to ship design or whatever that are not necessarily bad, but I mean, they're also not this, guys. So the creative outlet just isn't there for me. So, you know, yeah. So, not sold on this. I like the idea of multiple movement styles. So what's a game I'm actually really looking forward to, and I really hope the hype isn't bullshit? Stellaris. I am really excited for Stellaris. Stellaris is going to give you multiple movement types. It's technically real time, but I believe it's not going to be like Sins of a Solar Empire. I think it's going to be a 4X game that is just in slow real time, which I've actually seen done before in a very indie game that is long since dead, and I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was very simply named. It was like Starships Now or something like that. And anyways, no one's gonna remember it. Um, I'm really fascinated to see how this works out. Um, I think turn-based multiplayer is a miserable chore. Yeah, it's just painful. Um, it's always going to be on the back foot of popularity. And so its communities are usually small, passionate, and ultimately that can be good in some cases in terms of like they're nice people, and that can be really bad in terms of they're really um, inclusive and not they're really not inclusive of other or new players, and they don't welcome new people, and that can be a problem. I don't really have that fear with the Galactic Civ crew. Yeah, the Galactic Civ people are amazingly good people overall that I've seen. So kudos to us for that, right? But I have seen other games with small communities that just kind of turn sour. But either way, it's just really hard to get a multiplayer game in. So the fact that it's real time, I think, makes it way more accessible to multiplayer being feasible. I could be full of shit. Maybe it won't work. Whatever. It could all be hype, but I am really excited about that. That's one. Two, I'm excited for the fact that their main feature set seems to be diplomacy and politics. War, I haven't seen enough of the combat, but the combat is not personally controlled. It's not like it's full blown tactical. Um, Also, please, dear God, someone correct me if I'm wrong about it being real time, but I swear I kept reading that. But the combat itself seems like you don't really control it, but ships have certain behaviors based on whatever their weapons are. Ship designing looks solid, but it's not looking like you'll be able to aesthetically design anything. So again, not fulfilling my creative outlet, but like when you meet a minor race, you're going to be able to build a space station to research them and gain tech and stuff like that because you're not interfering with their lives. And they might accidentally blow themselves up, or they might reach the space age and be annoyed with you potentially. You can, of course, invade them and incorporate them. You can give them technology and incorporate them. Or apparently, you're going to be able to genetically engineer their asses into genetically engineer races that are like proto-sentient and turn them into, unique sort of members of your society that are better situated to a certain task, like war or colonizing certain types of planets, things like that. Those are all really cool. Some of which was really done well by Star Drive 2, I believe. I believe you could get weapon-carrying T-Rexes and/or elephants, and that's pretty cool. But I think Stellaris is going to be a little more serious than that. Could be wrong. So I am really excited to see features like that. Those features excite me. They're not tried and true. Coupled with the whole real-time thing is neat. The combat mechanics look average. We'll see. I am, contrary to hardcore Galactic Civ fans, I would really love to see tactical combat. Tactical combat is fun for me. And yeah, of course you don't have to do it every single time. You just press an auto resolve button and it's done, you know? No one's saying you have to go through it every single time. But I think that's a lot more fun than other features. For example, and again, I guess, I don't know, I guess I'm controversial. This, this screen. There's a lot of love in this screen. They put a lot of effort into it. And, you know, for most 4X games or like civilizations, this screen is barely this list over here, and you just click on things and get it done, which is laundry lists. And laundry lists are stupid. They're stupid, stupid, make stupid, stupid, in my opinion. You're entitled to yours. I'm sorry. The other people really love it. They love the, shall we say, the beauty of moving a single atom so that a star collapses a million years later. That's basically what building a building on a planet in a game where you can have hundreds of planets is. It's tiny movements creating a beautiful moment further down the road. I'm just not patient enough for it. Um, I've been gaming all my life, and I'm 31. I've got a job. I don't have a kid. I have two cats, so that's where I'm at. And it's a demanding job, you know. I gotta make some money. I don't have all the time in the world. I'm not a kid anymore. So, I'm that type of fan. So this does not appeal to me anymore. Um, and it's ironic that there's this delightful little mini game, better done than most other games. Okay, so like it's not just a laundry list in Galactic Civ. So we made this cool little mini game where placing stuff matters, and you can do the focuses or whatever. And then what did we have to do to make that mini game actually like workable in the framework of this? And this is a medium map, which is one of the smallest maps. Oh, that's right. Well, first we had to give you focuses. And there used to be that wheel. Let's not talk about it. Then we had to give you governors. And then we had to give you, how you wanted to manage your governors. And oh yeah, then you need a screen where you go to govern and go to colonies and I'm sorry, not colonies, commands, and you can tell planets kind of what to do. And I mean, we don't even have that yet, really. We just have the sponsoring piece here. And shipyards, and that's cool. But I believe we are eventually going to be getting planet scales type stuff too. And it's like it's all these features to eliminate the mini game. Here's your mini game, and you don't really want to play it because you got to play it 100+ times basically every few turns. It bogs down gameplay, and I mean this also hurts multiplayer. Maybe being turn-based isn't the problem. Maybe this is the problem. And for a while there, we didn't have governors, and that was not fun for me. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. Now, tactical combat, you can make the exact same criticism about. Why would I want to do that minigame? Well, I think the minigame's prettier. That's really what it boils down to. Vain, I admit, but I believe that the average person is going to get more emotional joy out of seeing the ships they lovingly or not so lovingly craft or just pick out blow up things. I know that's small-minded of me, but like I said, I'm not really a hardcore Galactic Civ fan when it comes to the design. I'm not a fanboy in the sense of they can do no wrong. It's also their game, and I appreciate it. It's a great game. I think it's a much better tool in terms of like what they give you. The ship designer is amazing. The customization options are insane. The modability is very high. Very few games reach this level of modability. I think they gave you almost a better tool than they did a game in some ways. And I totally have huge respect for Stardock and what they do. And that's why I would like. I'm one of the guys who would want tactical combat. You know why? Because I've seen them do it well. They, took their first forays, as far as I could tell, with Elemental, which of course was buggy and has a sordid history. But it was pretty good, actually, in that. Certainly could use improvement. And then they improved on it in Fallen Enchantress, which was great. I thought the tactical combat in that game was really, really good. It was fun. It was, not simplistic, but simple enough. And unit design really mattered. And that was just a lot of fun. And I believe they even improved on it in Sorcerer King, but I have not played that. So I know they can do it really well. That's why I'm sad that, it's not in this and that they're basically, I mean, previous posts have been boastful, I'd say, of not including it, and it just saddens me. So, anywho, so yeah, I'm one of those guys. Again, Stellaris excites me because it's real time. It's way easier to do sort of that type of combat mechanics in real time than it is in turn-based, I'd say, in terms of manageability of the player's time in some ways, because you literally just can't give all your focus to the strategic level or the real time or the combat level, and spend 20 hours on less than 100 turns. It just you'll lose. You can't actually focus on everything you want to focus on. That creates a sense of scarcity, of drama, of intensity, and that's exciting. So yeah, you can call me vain, but I'm looking for the art of being a glorious space emperor, and I am not interested in playing City Planner dozens of times. And I think it's a waste of development time and potential towards my vision, for example, if I were making this game and I had to put in this little mini game and then had to develop all sorts of tools so you never actually had to play the mini game. And if I'm gonna go through that sort of irony, uh, well, okay, I'm gonna do it with pretty spaceships that have explosions, because yeah, I like explosions and laser beams. Also, goats are cute. Sorry. I'm also really sick and on lots of cough syrup. All right, this was a lot of fun. Hope everyone had a good time. And if you want less videos like this, by all means tell me, and I will get back to making spaceships. And hey, this is going to end at 27 minutes. We knocked down the time, guys. Not bad. Not